There's a smell you never forget. Old gun oil, fried fingers, and that powdery stench when you miss the cleaning bench by a few months. Last week, I'm elbow deep in the safe, searching for something I actually want to shoot. I skipped the usual suspects, Glocks, CZs, the stuff everyone says changed the game. But the thing is, none of that even moves the needle. I nearly called it quits right there. Then I found a pistol I barely remember buying. Not new, not vintage, just odd. It's gritty, it's stubborn, but when the first shot snaps off, I remembered why I used to care about this hobby. That's when it hit me. Maybe the guns worth shooting aren't the ones you keep clean or brag about or even trust. Maybe they're the ones you forget about until one day they remind you what a real surprise feels like. So yeah, you can scroll past this, but if you want to feel something different, maybe even pissed, maybe alive, these are the 9mm every shooter needs to actually put rounds through before you run your mouth in 2025. Don't guess number one. You'll get it when you feel it. You ever talk shit about a gun for years, then get smacked in the mouth by it on a slow Thursday? That would be the Canic for me. Turkish junk, I said first. Just another plastic toy for guys who count pennies and chase internet hype. I'd see one come out at the range, roll my eyes, maybe crack a joke about swamp meat pistols. Then one day, a buddy shoves it in my hand. Shut up and shoot. I did, just to prove him wrong, but the only thing that gets proved is that I didn't know shit. Every shot just lands where I wasn't even looking. The range goes quiet. Now it's my turn to eat crow. It's not about the price or some spec or what the box says. It's about getting put in your place by something you thought was beneath you. You call yourself a shooter? You haven't been humbled till you run a mag through one of these. Go ahead, laugh it off until it's your turn to shut up and shoot. You know, sometimes I stare at that damn VP9 in the case and wonder who I'm trying to impress. Maybe it's myself. Maybe it's that crew of range heroes all chasing the next excuse for their limp wrists. I tell myself I don't care about brands, but I lie. I tell myself German guns are for guys who wear watches at the gym, and I lie again. You buy an HK, you're buying into something. Maybe pride, maybe just the right to nod at the serious shooters and pretend you belong. I pick it up, put it down, circle back when nobody's watching. I catch my own reflection and feel stupid, like the gun's judging me for pretending I don't want it. Hell, sometimes I think I'd rather keep chasing the myth than actually shoot the thing. It's easier that way. Less chance to prove I'm all talk and no bite. But you can't fool yourself forever. Sooner or later, you gotta pull the trigger on your own bullshit. That next gun? Yep, that one took it even further. Some nights, you don't need a gun that smiles for the camera. You need a pistol that sits heavy and silent, the kind that never asks for permission and never flinches when things get dirty. That's what the effin' 509 Tactical is. Dead weight in the glove box, cold metal in your palm, a little too honest about what you have to do with it. This isn't the gun you pull out just to impress your friends at the counter. It's the one you check twice, then once more when the street lights start to flicker. You keep your mouth shut, keep your head low, and hope you never have to let this thing off its leash. People love talking about the cool factor, the fancy accessories, all the things that make a gun look good on a screen. Not here though. The effin' doesn't care if you like it or not. It only exists for the moment things go wrong and nobody else is going to step up. If you need style points, look elsewhere. And if you ever find yourself hoping you don't need to reach for it, congratulations, you get it. The next gun on this list, you'll never see it coming. I was standing at the counter, cracking wise jokes about Rugers, just killing time, waiting for a lane. Some pistols you just look past, you know? The RXM9, big deal. I say it out loud, probably too loud. That's when the old cop at the end of the bench lifts his head. Badge still clipped to his range bag, lines on his face deep as the pits on his hands. He looks at me, dead steady. "You don't have to like it," he says. "You just have to not bet against it." I half smirk, half shrunk, but he keeps talking. "You want pretty? Get a safe queen. You want to go home every night? Pick something that outlasts your ego." He turns back to his paperwork. That's it. No lecture, no sales pitch. Just a room full of shooters pretending not to listen, and me suddenly not so sure about what I thought I knew. Ruger RXM9. Maybe not your favorite, maybe not mine, but there are men in here who know what it's worth. Next one, good luck ignoring it. You ever noticed how the loudest shooters always have a reason they don't do Glocks? They'll buy every boutique polymer, every tactical whatever, just so they can sneer at the plastic brick sitting in their buddy's holster. You want to know who's real? Watch who actually loads up a Glock 45 MOS and runs it dirty, fast, and when it counts. It's not fun, it's not clever. Hell, it's not even interesting. But it's the only pistol that doesn't care about your excuses, your preferences, or your fragile pride. The 45 MOS is the wall you hit when you're done lying about what matters. It doesn't want your respect, and it won't give you any. This isn't about loving Glock. This is about facing the truth that everyone tries to dodge. Until you've hammered max through this and left your ego bleeding on the line, you're just playing dress up. Keep dodging it. Nobody serious is fooled. Skip the 45 MOS and you're skipping the part of shooting that actually matters. The next gun, it'll make you question why you ever bothered pretending. Sometimes I wake up sure that I left it somewhere else. A bag, a drawer, glove box, maybe lost it on the road at 3 a.m. But the P10C is always there, waiting, wedged at the back of the safe, half shadowed by guns I pretend to care about more. It doesn't demand anything. It doesn't glare from the bench, doesn't haunt my wallet with regret or pride. Still, it slips into every dream. Sometimes it's in my hand on a stairwell I don't remember climbing, sometimes in the seat next to me in a car that smells like someone else's life. Sometimes I just hear the quiet click of a striker behind a closed door hours after I turn out the lights and try to sleep. It may not be my favorite, and it never has been. It's not a statement piece or even a story to brag about. It's the ghost in the collection. Quiet, ordinary, and impossible to forget even when you want to. Every shooter's got something like that, whether they admit it or not. If you don't, you will. Just give it time. Don't ask me what the next gun brings. I haven't slept right since the last time I saw it. You ever see those bathroom selfies? The half-lifted shirts, the holsters that look brand new, the fake scowl in the mirror, everyone's favorite pose? It's always a compact. It's always spotless. It's always the Smith, like caring makes them special. But I know how it really goes. Most of you slide that gun on for a picture, maybe for a coffee run, and then take it off the minute it gets uncomfortable. Too heavy for your cheap belt, too much paranoia when you catch your own reflection in a shop window. You say you're ready, but I doubt it. Carry the M&P 9 for a month, not a day, a month. Feel the sweat soak through your shirt, the ache in your side, the awkward shift every time someone hugs you or looks too long. It's not a prop, it's a commitment, a weight you don't get to ignore when you're tired, when you're lazy, when you're scared. Most will bail before the first week's out. The ones who stick it out, they're different. Quieter, meaner, tired in a way you can't fake for likes. Keep playing EDC hero for the camera. The next gun, it'll strip away the rest of your illusions and leave you with nothing to hide behind. Walk into any crowded range and you'll spot them. Range royalty, the guy with the Beretta case, gold lettering, eyes cold as concrete, doesn't need to talk, doesn't need to pose, just lifts the lid and everyone feels it. I hate that feeling. I hate the way the room shifts. Everyone gets a little quieter, a little smaller when the 92X performance comes out. You tell yourself it's just a gun. Overpriced steel, too heavy for real life, too pretty for real trouble. But you watch the way it shoots, you hear the speed, you see targets melt, and all your rehearsed bullshit falls flat. Doesn't matter how many hours you put in, there's always someone smoother, faster, cockier, and richer. The Beretta isn't about proving something, it's about reminding the rest of us there's always a better table in the room and you're not invited. I've tried to ignore it, tried to scoff, crack jokes, call it a race gun for rich kids, but every time that slide racks, I remember. There's levels to this, and I'm not at the top. The 92X performance makes sure you never forget. The next gun, it doesn't want your respect, it wants to beat you ugly. Every shooter hits a season where money runs out, options dry up, and you're left holding whatever's left on the bottom shelf. For me, that was the PX9 Compact, a decision made in silence, not pride. No drama, no story worth bragging about. Just me and a quiet admission that sometimes you settle because life doesn't care about your standards. This isn't the gun you post online or tell your friends about or even pass down with a speech. It's the gun you keep because you have to, because quitting isn't on the table, because not having something, anything, isn't an option. Every shooter who thinks they're above it, who thinks I'd never own that, is lying. Is either lying or hasn't been hungry enough. You want to call yourself seasoned? Stand in your garage at midnight, staring at the one pistol you never wanted, and realize you're still grateful. If you haven't felt that, you haven't lived this side of the game yet. And the next gun? Forget shame, it'll put your ego in a blender and hit puree. Some guns don't just outshoot you, they outclass you. And this isn't your regular PDP. The SF walks into the range like it owns the damn place. Whole vibe shifts. You try to act like you're not watching, but you are. Somebody else loads it up, hands steady, not a hint of nerves. You keep telling yourself it's just another Walther, just another day, but you know that's a lie. You feel exposed, like you showed up to a black-tie dinner in work boots. You want to hate it, you want to pretend you could walk away and never think twice, but you keep stealing glances, measuring yourself by the way it moves, the way it gets handled. That's the thing. This isn't about gear envy or specs or some story to impress. It's about standing next to something or someone that reminds you what's possible and how far you have to go. Every shooter, sooner or later, needs a moment like this. You need to feel outgunned, outclassed, out of your depth. You need a Walther PDP SF in the room to remind you you're still learning, still reaching. Next up, you'll wish it was envy. The next one is all about regret. Pocket lint, gas receipts, motel lamp yellow as nicotine stains. 3/4 and a Kimber all tossed in the drawer in some highway room you'll forget by morning. Small gun, big trouble. Not a story you tell, not a name you drop at the counter, you keep moving. It sits in your jacket for days you hope never show up. Sometimes you forget it's even there. Sometimes you grip it so tight your knuckles ache when you reach for a door you don't trust. Nobody knows what you carry. Half the time, neither do you. There's nothing to admire, nothing to show off. Just a metal ghost in your pocket, keeping secrets, picking up the sweat, the boredom, the low-level fear that never goes away when you live out of a trunk. Some nights it's just weight, other nights it's insurance you hope you never have to cash. No pride, no shame. It's just there because you've seen enough nights go wrong to know something empty is worse. Lock the door twice. Nobody tells you the first deal is always ugly. Nobody wants to admit how cheap it feels. You meet at midnight, eyes scanning every car that creeps by, counting every headlight twice. He's already late, but you're more desperate than annoyed. You didn't bring backup, but neither did he, or if he did, it stayed out of sight. That's the rule. Don't trust, don't wait, don't act scared. Money's never clean at this hour. Bills get crumpled, hands get slick, words are short and sharp. He asks if it's loaded. You don't answer. Just slide the Taurus G2C across the trunk lid, grip first. He stares at it like it might bite him, and maybe it will. You almost hope so, just to end the moment. Every shooter thinks they're above this until they aren't. Sooner or later, you'll be desperate enough, broke enough, or just out of options. And that's when you learn. This isn't about pride or reviews or what gun guys say online. It's about having something when the world offers you nothing. It's about making the kind of trade that leaves a mark you can't rub out. If you haven't been here, you're not finished yet. You want real? The next pistol doesn't care who you are. It just waits for you to show up. Enough pretending. You come all this way chasing names, spending money, collecting stories for strangers and ghosts. You want something rare? Here it is. The Hellcat Pro doesn't want your love. It doesn't care about your taste, your rank, your badge, or your body count. It just sits there, loaded, waiting for the last story you'll ever tell. Every other pistol in the safe has a reason: regret, envy, shame, pride, the game of stacking plastic and steel like you're building a wall against whatever you're scared to face. But you run out of walls, and then it's just you, a loaded magazine, and the Hellcat Pro staring back at you like it's known the end since the day you started. Try to flex, try to remember all the reasons you bought the rest, try to laugh it off. The Hellcat Pro doesn't blink, doesn't flinch, doesn't want to be number one. It just wants to see if you're still standing when the lights come back on. Careful, what comes after this isn't even supposed to be here. Nobody brags about the Ruger Max 9. That's the whole point. It's the gun that sits quiet, waits for the drama to die down, and picks up the pieces when everyone else is gone. Some shooters treat it like a backup plan, something to stash in the glove box or drop in a gym bag. But that's what makes it dangerous. Nobody pays attention until it's the only thing left that works. I've seen the Max 9 come out when pride has already left the room. No instructions, no applause, just a simple nod and a job that needs doing. It's the pistol you trust when you stop trusting your luck. No fanfare, no favorites, just one last card to play when you're out of hands. There's a lesson buried in that silence. The loudest guns rarely last. Sometimes the best backup is the one you never talk about. Some guns just feel illegal even when you're in the clear. The P365X macro is like slipping past a locked door. Too small for the fire it carries, too smart for the eyes that catch it. You walk with it, and suddenly you're noticing exits, counting faces, feeling like the rules don't quite fit anymore. It's not about concealed or even carry. It's about the rush of knowing you've got an edge nobody expects. You catch yourself grinning in places you shouldn't. Crowded elevators, long nights in stranded neighborhoods. The X macro doesn't apologize. It's built for people who stopped asking permission and started making their own luck. You want safe, predictable, boring? Try anything else on this list. This pistol is for the ones who break away clean and never look back. And these pistols, just warm-ups. The rest of the list, they're not coming to save you now. Not everyone is invited to the table. The Staccato P is a velvet rope gun. Too expensive for some, too honest for most. You don't just pick it up, you have to prove you belong. Cops, competitors, the people who never blink when it gets loud, those are the only ones I ever see running a Staccato. You feel it in the air when one's on the line. Even the noise is different. No rattle, just pure intention start to finish. You want to join the club? Be my guest. The buy-in is steep and the dues never stop. But if you make it, there's a moment when the crowd quiets and you know nobody's faking anymore. That's when the real work starts. I could tell you to go and buy any one of these, but I won't. You'll ignore half of this list anyway, same as I used to. but maybe next time you dig through your own safe, you'll find a handle you don't recognize, some weird metal you wrote off. Don't be too quick to put it back. The best 9mm I ever shot was one I almost left in the case, and I bet yours is too. If you ever figure it out, you know where to find me.